There you go, we got, so she is just relaxing on top there. I do apologize, a little bit of a break in picture due to us being in the drainage line. Sometimes the signal's not the greatest here. She is fast asleep. Spotted eagle owl. So she's been here now for the last 3 days, 4 days on the nest. I'm sure she's got some eggs there. How nice is this? This is just brilliant. Trying to look if we can see the male. Sometimes the male will be sitting close by, just keeping his eyes on her, making sure everything is safe here. As well as he will assist her with, of course, with some food. But if he's not successful in getting something, she'll sometimes fly out at night time and go and look for her own food around the area. But for now, during the daytime, she is fast asleep, and if there's eggs, she's busy incubating those eggs. So last year, the first time we saw these wigs on the nest was on the 9th of September. So that's why, if you're looking at now, we saw, it was the 14th, yeah, so 4 days ago. Sorry, that was the first time we saw her sitting on the nest 4 days ago, so the 14th of September. So it just shows you very close from last year to this year. First time seeing them sitting on the nest. I mean, that was what, 5 days apart from last year to this year. So how nice. Sorry, Gwen, go with a comment or a question there again. I just heard something coming through my comms there. Okay, copy. Thanks. I already answered it. Sorry, just the comms is breaking up a bit. I think it's just the little dip where we are now. It's not the easiest sometimes with signal and our comms, yeah. It is beautiful. And this is very fortunate we can get to see, the whole process from the female lion sitting on the eggs right up to, of course, the little chicks when they hatch, and when they grow up, and when they pretty much leave the nesting area. And they were very successful with 2 of them last year. I think they left in January, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was January when we last saw the 2 chicks of the wigs, and when they disappeared from the nest or from this area. I just need to double check on that. George, yes, he's usually in, I'm actually looking around here, he's usually in one of these trees. There's a lot of tambuti trees around here on the bank, and sometimes you'll be sitting on these, like in these trees somewhere, or actually on the opposite bank. Sometimes I've seen him once or twice here. There's an apple leaf that's on the other side of the bank that's, sometimes he'll be just sitting up there and just keeping his eyes out. So, but I don't see anything, no, I don't see. But they do blend in very well. I mean, as you can see with the one that's sitting on the nest now, I mean, it's, if you really look, she blends in so perfectly with the surroundings. So very safe for her, and it's a nice, like, steep bank as well. And so even if the predators had to walk by here, for them to pick up on this nest is going to be quite a mission. And it'll be a good spot by them. Sure. She's having a proper Monday morning snooze. Perfect weather for her. At least it's not that hot this morning. Well, it's not going to be that hot this afternoon as well. So, Trevor, I think incubation for the spotted eagle owl, I think it's 30 days. I think it's 29 or 30 days. I think something like that. So I'm just trying to go back into that. I might be wrong. I think it's 29 or 30 days, the incubation. So it's not long. But let me double check on that. As I said, I might be corrected. Gwen, maybe, sorry, have you got any information on that? Maybe, well, Gwen, our director, can give me a quick look up there. And then for around about 5 to 8 weeks. Oh, thank you. Sandy, thank you so much. So you say 30 to 32 days. Okay, so I was pretty much right there. Yeah, 30 to 32 days incubation. Thank you, Sandy, for that. Yeah, so I'm trying to dig into some of my information that I've had from last year's sightings of the wigs. And then, of course, the little chicks will hang around for about, I think, 4 or 5 weeks before they start moving around the nesting area. Also trying to take opportunities to grab like little insects if there's something close by. And I think after about 12 weeks they will start moving into treetops and moving away from the nesting area.
Look who we popped in to say hello to. The Wigs, well, Mrs Wig at least, sitting on her nest, looking exhausted and so tired. It must be tough, it must be so hot there. And it is so important that she sits on her nest and incubates those eggs. Every now and then she opens up her eyes, but she's not particularly perturbed about anything around her at the moment. You might also be able to hear the clicking of the white-crested helmet shrikes. They've just flown away now, but they've been lingering around, not causing her too much trouble. They didn't even go and mob her, they're just letting her be. I'm not sure where Mr. Wig is. He could be nearby, or he could also be a fair distance away. I suspect he might be tucked up at the top of a jackalberry under all the leaves. That'd be a nice, cozy, shady spot. I had to keep himself nice and cool. I don't know if anyone has seen the eggs. Are there 2 eggs, BK? You haven't seen anything. BK says he hasn't seen anything, but if you have seen something with any of the other naturalists, let me know. They normally lay 2 eggs. Both chicks, of course, can survive. And this pair of spotted eagle owls is quite successful, which is why they have not bothered to move away from this area. They nest in the same spot every single year. Slightly different nesting points, but this is a good one. Just right underneath a tzimbochi tree, a very young one. Quinton, yes, it is really awesome to see the wigs again. We're quite spoiled to have regular sightings of spotted eagle owls. Although I feel like, you know what, we're really spoiled. I think it's quite similar all over the world. In some cities, our owls have obviously adapted to living amongst us as humans and catching lots of rodents, utilizing buildings for nesting sites, especially things like barn owls and spotted eagle owls are probably the 2 most common owl species. All over the world, so even those the same families will do similar things. But of course, this is natural environment. This is as good as the architecture is going to get. Nice little depression there. Only thing that could be a bit of a worry over the years is that this embankment is naturally eroding away, and you can actually see that. There we go. You see, so every single year this bank is going to erode, whether it be water or wind. There's not much coverage here, so it really just depends on how high the Molwati, this drainage line, is and flows. And that could really affect us. Okay, just off of topic, you said thank you for showing you the moth book the other day. You actually went and got one. Oh, I'm so glad. It's very interesting. Today I watched a wasp carry a caterpillar away, and I was very sad. I mean, it's obviously good. The caterpillar is going to be a host for the larvae of a wasp, but we all know how I feel about caterpillars. There was a bright green one. But fast asleep there. It's a tough job. She listens out every now and then, but she barely opens her eyes. But she's so camouflaged. And there she's opening her eyes. She keeps looking up in that direction. She doesn't really have to, oh, there we go, what's happened? She doesn't really have to worry about up and behind her head because she's protected by that tamboti tree, and the young tamboti tree has got big spines on it too. She's not happy about something though. It always just amazes me how animals can go from fast asleep to wide awake. Us as humans, goodness, we're all so groggy when we try and wake up. And not particularly good at responding. I only got one eye open. I'm also just looking around now to see if I can see anything. She's obviously got a lot of predators. Yeah, other birds of prey, snakes are a big one. A leopard would snatch up an owl, no problem. Even a big monitor lizard, and we've seen plenty of monitors here. Although if a monitor lizard were to come around, she'd definitely defend her nest. I don't know if I'd like to get on the wrong side of an owl. Especially not something like a Varro's eagle owl, which are the really big ones. No, thank you. Watching her is also making me sleepy. That camouflage though, it's truly amazing. If you didn't know that the nest was here, you'd drive straight past it. Look at that, you can barely see her. Gone. Vanished into the embankment. And with all the fallen tamboti leaves around her, that's just adding extra camouflage. I would worry about the eggs tumbling down there though. Actually, she won't move them around too much. But as you know, especially those of us in South Africa and anyone else that's passionate about sport, is that the Rugby World Cup is well on its way. Let's go over and check over to what some of our supporters have to say.